We've seen a progressive adoption of masks now, not only because the evidence is there, but also I think there's been a culture shift around that. We've learnt a lot over time, we've changed our practices, but the virus has also changed. So that's been the challenge. We've got a virus that is more infectious in terms of the most recent variants, so we're learning again how to get even better at that, how to wear masks properly, which masks we wear in different situations. A lot of people have the cloth masks. They're easy, they can be washed and reused. They're an economical option. They can be good because they can provide a good fit to the face, but they really should be at least 2, better 3 layers. The finer the material, the better. That's why they don't allow scarves or other bandanas. It's important that it's fine material that acts as a filter and that they're really good face coverings. They cover the face well. Better, though, is a surgical mask. So that actually offers a better level of filtration with 3 layers that make up your standard surgical masks. The risk with those is sometimes they have big gapes at the side and so they don't fit so well. Fiddling with the ear loops can really help actually get a tighter fit on a mask so that you don't have it gaping around the edges. If you're actually in a situation where you're a bit more concerned that you're in close quarters with other people, you're going to be in that place for a while, actually layering your mask is a good idea, because a cloth mask may not be the best filtration, but it can help hold a surgical mask in place if that's sitting over the top of it. The other sort you hear a lot more about now are the filtration masks or the respirators. So these are the P2 or the N95 masks. These are high filtration masks and they're designed to reduce any, even tiny particles, down to 1 micron. So theoretically, they should filter out the virus. So if you're on public transport, if you've got, a 45-minute trip on a tram or a train or a bus, then that might be where you think, well, actually, I'm a commuter, I'm around other people I don't know, it is a closed space, so it's worth that extra investment. But the investment isn't just in buying the mask, it's also knowing how to wear it properly. They work if they're fully sealed. If it's gaping on your face at all, then it drops its effectiveness. Some people describe it as uncomfortable. Some people have skin irritations from it. So there'll be things that actually make it the right choice for some people, and for other people, a bigger ask. And probably, if they're more likely to fiddle with it, try and get it fitting more loosely so it's not irritating, losing the benefit. If you do reuse it, if you've used it for a full day and you're wearing it most of the day, probably shouldn't reuse it. But if you've only used it for a brief time, you can store it, keep it dry, sterilise it in sunshine. There are things you can do that actually make that reasonably safe as well. There's a lot of legacies that we're hoping for from this pandemic that really do put us in a more resilient position going ahead, not just for COVID, but for other infectious diseases as well. Hopefully people won't go to work if they have symptoms. We won't be sending kids to school with symptoms. There's things we've learned, but actually a cultural shift around masks is going to be an important part of that. We've seen it in other countries. It works really well in Asia. Now it's so broad across the community that I think people don't give a second look, and I think that's important. That cultural shift hopefully means it's here to stay, and that people who want to protect themselves, whether there's mask rules in place or not, opt for masks in those settings where it might just save them getting another winter cold.